A fleet of oil tankers sitting off the coast, refusing to unload. A power plant shut down in the middle of a heat wave to squeeze a few more cents out of the grid. And a warehouse in Detroit where forklifts move metal in circles just to charge you for the ride. By the end of this video, you will understand that shortage is no longer a natural disaster. It is a business model. You are about to discover how the world's most powerful banks and traders have hijacked the supply chain, turning the essential resources you need to survive into poker chips for a game you aren't even allowed to play. Stop blaming the president for the price of gas. Stop blaming the war for the price of bread. Stop blaming inflation. Those are convenient excuses. They are the smoke. You need to look at the fire. You feel the pinch every time you swipe your card. You see the grocery bill double. You see the gas pump tick up. You are told this is supply and demand. You are told there just isn't enough to go around. That is a lie designed to keep you poor. In many cases, the supply exists. It is sitting right there, but it is locked behind a gate. The stakes here are your quality of life. You are working harder to pay for commodities that are being deliberately withheld from you. This is not an economy. This is a hostage situation. They have their hand on the valve of civilization, and they are slowly turning it off until you agree to pay the ransom. To understand how they engineered this drought, we have to look at the transition from Storekeeper to Speculator. It is a complex hustle that turns abundance into panic. It operates in 3 calculated steps. Step 1 is the setup, the financial invasion. We have to go back to 2003. The US Federal Reserve made a quiet, critical decision. They allowed commercial banks, the people who hold your savings, to start trading in physical commodities. Before this, banks dealt in paper. Money, stocks, bonds. After this, they could buy the actual oil, the actual coal, the actual aluminum. Goldman Sachs didn't just bet on the price of metal. They bought the warehouses where the metal was stored. Morgan Stanley didn't just bet on oil prices. They chartered the tankers. This was the fox buying the hen house. They realized that if they owned the infrastructure, they didn't have to guess what the market would do. They could force the market to move. Step 2 is the trick, the merry-go-round. This is one of the most cynical operations in financial history. Let's focus on the aluminum shuffle exposed by the Senate in 2014. Goldman Sachs bought a company called Metro International Trade Services. They controlled 27 warehouses in Detroit. Coca-Cola and Ford needed that aluminum to make cans and cars. But suddenly, the wait time to get the metal went from 6 weeks to 16 months. Why? Was there a shortage? No. The warehouses were full. The bank created a queue. They moved the aluminum bars from warehouse A to warehouse B, then from B back to A. Why? Because every day that metal sat in the warehouse, they charged rent. By creating a bottleneck, they artificially restricted the supply entering the market. This raised the premium price of aluminum for everyone. They created a traffic jam on purpose, and then charged every driver a toll for sitting in it. It is estimated this cost American consumers $5 billion over 3 years. You paid for that scam every time you bought a soda. Step 3 is the proof. You want to hear the villains laughing? Let's look at the Enron tapes from the California energy crisis of 2000 to 2001. The state of California was suffering rolling blackouts. Traffic lights went dark. People were stuck in elevators. The price of electricity skyrocketed by 800%. It wasn't a heat wave. It was a strategy. Traders at Enron were caught on recorded lines calling power plants and telling them to shut down for maintenance during peak demand. On one tape, a trader asks, "So we are just going to cut them off?" The response, "Yeah, screw them." Another infamous quote from a trader regarding a wildfire that cut power lines. "Burn, baby, burn." That's a beautiful thing. They deliberately removed energy from the grid to create a panic, because panic drives prices to the moon. This wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was a documented conspiracy. Enron collapsed, but the tactic of physical withholding survived. So, how do they cash out? Through the Contango Trap. This is the wealth transfer. Contango is a market condition where the future price of a commodity is higher than the current price. When this happens, traders realize they can make free money by hoarding. They buy oil cheap today. They rent a supertanker. They park it in the middle of the ocean for 6 months. They refuse to sell it to you now. They wait for the price to hit the higher target, then they sell. During the 2008 financial crisis and the 2020 crash, millions of barrels of oil were floating just offshore, fully loaded, while prices at the pump fluctuated. The exit is simple. They sell the resource back to you at the crisis price they helped create. They monetize the time you spent waiting. The bank exits with a massive trading profit. The warehouse operator exits with rental fees. You exit with a lighter wallet and a vague sense that the world is running out of everything. We are living on a planet of finite resources, yes. But the scarcity you feel on a Tuesday morning is rarely geological. It is usually logistical. We have enough food to feed the hungry. We have enough energy to power the grid. What we have is a distribution system that prioritizes the spot price over the human need. They have built a dam on the river of commerce. They only open the floodgates when the water level and the profit margin is high enough to drown us. The question isn't, when will we run out of oil? The question is, how much of the world's wealth is sitting in a dark room, locked away by a man who is betting that you will pay double if he just waits until you are desperate enough?